prompt, so I greatly appreciate everybody coming on. This is Tom Kleiner. I'm the head of the Westchester-Putnam Workforce Development Board. And our board actually just had a regular meeting. And we are eagerly awaiting the panel, Chris's presentation and the panel, because that will inform a lot of our discussion moving forward in the coming months and years, actually. So we're really looking forward to that. The agenda is actually for this annual meeting is pretty packed. So I'm just going to welcome everybody and say on behalf of the staff, and there'll be more on this as we go forward, but the staff has worked very hard given the challenges that everybody faced with the pandemic and has had some really great results. So kudos to them, to our partners at the Department of Social Services and our partners in the community and the New York State Department of Labor. So speaking of one of our partners, Leonard Towns is our commissioner. He's doing a great job in that role. He was formerly our deputy. And Randy Scott is now the new deputy. Katrina Alexander has moved on to other departments and had done a great job with us as well. So before we proceed with the panel, I just wanted to recognize Randy to say a few words. Before I do that, so it's easier for Sherry, who's managing this Zoom, to pin people as she has with me here. Maybe obviously mute your lines if you're not speaking, and also you can stop your video until we open it up for questions and answers. If you can find,
except for the panelists,
except for the panelists and the speaker and those who will be speaking. So if you can find Randy, if not, you can go to the full screen. But if you can find him, then you can recognize him to say hello.
There he is.
Good morning, Tom, and thank you for that introduction. And as Tom said, on behalf of Commissioner Towns, my name is Randy Scott, and I'm the new deputy commissioner here, and it's a pleasure to have this opportunity to say a few words. I look forward to working with you, especially around workforce, especially around youth initiatives with workforce, and doing more for the communities, and seeing how we can continue the great work and bring even more, broaden the things that are necessary. So I don't want to take up too much time because I know it's a packed agenda, and I'm interested in hearing a lot from the folks that are speaking today. So definitely thank you for the invite. Look forward to working with all of you, and have a great day, and let's have a great meeting. So thank you, Tom. Back to you.
Thank you, Randy. We're all frankly excited to work with you. I just want to say one other thing about Randy. He's had a lot of experience working in workforce, including working with youth with a lot of challenges in New York City. So a lot of great background and a lot of opportunity for great things, working with us and with our partners at Labor. Just a couple of other logistical issues. So go on mute if you're not speaking, and you can stop your video if you're not going to be speaking, so it's easier to pin people. And also, if you would put your name and your organization or business in the chat, that we can keep a record and keep track. So with that, the theme of our meeting is how to use data to better inform how we can enhance the workforce. And frankly, there's no better person to give us some guidance on that than Chris White, who's the Deputy Commissioner for Workforce Development at the New York State Department of Labor. And, the title suggests, I'm not sure what else the Department of Labor does with, that it's like the Department of Painting and Sculpture at the Metropolitan Museum. Well, what else are they doing? I mean, he's the main guy. He spearheaded a great survey last year, and this one doubled the amount of responses, thousands of responses from businesses and from job seekers. And after Chris summarizes that with a focus on the Mid-Hudson, then we have a great panel representing essentially business and education that will reflect on that and have a discussion. It's meant to be informal, but we have some themes that we want to discuss with all of them and with you. So with that, Chris, thanks again for the opportunity for you to be here and making the time, and it's all yours.
Awesome. No, Tom, thank you, and for your leadership as well in the region, but also just being a tremendous voice, statewide as well as a board director. And former colleague at the Department of Labor too. I see a lot of great people on here, many of whom I know, so it is truly my honor to be here. And I promise I will finish within the allotted time frame, because I hate things that just go on and drag on unnecessarily. Can you see my screen okay that I've shared?
It's about, yes.
Excellent. So what I'll do this morning, I will run through kind of a highlight of some of the results that we got. A lot of them are statewide, many are regionally specific as well, and I'll try to point out which is which to not be abundantly confusing. We'll kind of set the foundation for the discussion to come. So exactly as Tom said, so we did a survey a year ago, and I know, by the way, a lot of you participated in this. So thank you for either participating and for sharing the survey links and getting folks to complete it. So last year when we did the survey, we had almost 2,000 businesses, 4,000 job seekers take part. This year when we did it, as Tom said, we doubled our numbers. Almost 4,000 businesses took part in our business survey, and 8,000 job seekers in the region specifically. We had almost 750 job seekers and a little under 500 businesses take part, which is substantial, right? So we can read a lot into the data there. I think point of interest on the business survey side for this year, the businesses who were surveyed represent about 500,000 workers across the state. So a lot of data really represented here in what I'll share. So some key takeaways from the business survey, and in I think the materials that were shared, there's links to the full statewide and each regional data results, way more in depth, and all of it's posted online. But some of the themes we really saw were not a surprise, and I think we are all in all of our organizations experiencing so many of these. I know I certainly am when we're doing hiring here, but yeah. Talent is hard to find, right? It's hard to attract people to an organization as an employer, and it's hard to retain people as well. And I think because we're fighting over a limited talent pool, we saw businesses not just struggling to find talent, but finding unique ways and looking for new ways to retain talent as well. So that definitely is, I think a big area of focus and something we saw as a shift from last year to this year in the results. We also saw a big uptick, and not a surprise for sure, but a big uptick in a lot of businesses saying, I'm struggling to find skilled trades, people to fill the skilled trades, training for skilled trades, an awareness of skilled trades, especially among young people, and then support, to get people through into the skilled trades. That it is a really not just viable career, a tremendous career. Like if any of us have hired anyone who is in the skilled trades recently, we know that they're not cheap, and they pay well, and they have great benefits to them. And I think also a lot of businesses have been searching for new ways to respond to the changing needs and expectations of job seekers out there today. So many are responding, and many are looking for new ways to respond. What are the hardest to fill jobs in the region? They're on your screen right here. And if you look down the list, so administrative jobs, direct support professionals, laborers, drivers, healthcare galore, these are not dissimilar from what our survey showed to every other data source that we see out there. We see these same skill sets missing. We see a lot of the same, people in jobs just at high need. And it validates so much of what we're seeing in the headlines as well, across the state and definitely regionally as well. The why these jobs are hard to fill. I have on the left-hand side the reasons across the state, and specific to the Mid-Hudson region on the right side. And you can see it's not that dissimilar in the Mid-Hudson region as compared to every other part of the state. In the region, still around 50% of businesses say compensation is absolutely killer to them. And that's a huge barrier to filling a lot of the jobs. So people coming in saying, here's the salary I'm looking to make, and employers saying, no, that doesn't line up with what we are able to offer at this time. Lack of qualified candidates, again, really high percentage there, close to 50% of businesses saying like, this is a huge problem, that people are coming in the door, sure, they're applying, but they're just not qualified. They don't have the right education. They don't have the right skill sets. They don't have, on and on, the right credentials. Applicants lacking skills. Nature of work was really hard. I won't read through all of these with every chart, but the shift in schedule, I think, is another interesting one. There was not a great alignment. It wasn't like everyone was saying, I want part-time work, but there's only full-time jobs available, or I want to work weekdays and there's only weekend shifts available. It really spoke to a great misalignment on a lot of that out there. We asked questions of businesses about where you find the most success. What tools are you using, the left-hand column? And then what do you actually find successful when it comes to recruiting talent? So the left-hand column, I'll summarize and just say, businesses, employers, they're trying everything out there to attract talent. But what's working are two main things, and they are the exact two main things at almost the same percentages this year as compared to last year. And it's the internal networks, the referrals, word of mouth as the primary successful mechanism. And the second is Indeed. And then many other things, but far below that. So those two things. And I think especially with the first one, I always say, who are we excluding from the talent recruitment funnel if people are coming in, but the only way they get in is through people who are already there? So who are we keeping out of that system? And I think that's a really great opportunity to expand, in so many great ways to find incredible talent, expanding to alternative methods of recruitment. We asked about skill sets and what's lacking among job applicants and new employees. These are the results from the non-technical side. Technical side I'll flip to in a second, but you can see here, professional skills, we call them soft skills sometimes. I've heard power skills, many different ways to describe them, but however you describe them, they are lacking at extreme scale across all jobs, across all levels, across all industries. And you can see the change from 2021 to 2022 across every region, same kind of results, but showing up on time, communication skills, being motivated, critical thinking, you can read them all there, but this is something I think the double digit and sometimes 50%, 60%, 70% on some of these being a critical need and a massive area of focus on the non-technical skill side for job applicants and new employees. On the technical side, one simple solution: digital literacy, and digital literacy. Computer use, Excel, Word, typing, data analysis, all in very high demand according to businesses that they're lacking. We also asked businesses, and I think this is just really interesting, asked businesses, what type of training do you want to do for your workers, but you're not able to? And across the state, these are the results in the Mid-Hudson region, but no surprise, management leadership development training. You have someone who makes a great employee, and you're great, we're going to keep them on their career path, we're going to give them a promotion, but it doesn't mean they're a great supervisor, it doesn't mean they're a great manager, it doesn't mean they're a great leader. So how do we get them those kind of skill sets to allow them further future growth in their career? And then a number of the other ones here, the on-the-job training, mentoring, job shadowing, the third-party learning or in-house learning, all speak to that desire among businesses to want to retain the talent, right? Keep people here, keep them from going across the street, cross town, or God forbid, to another state. Keep them working for us and keeping them on their career trajectory at the same time. Ask businesses a lot about the type of supports they would want to provide. What are you providing right now to your workers? And then what type of things do you want to be providing to your workers? So a number of businesses are providing tuition assistance, education reimbursement, that sort of thing. But what do they want to be providing? Childcare assistance, more than a third of businesses saying that, and then tuition assistance, or transportation rather, assistance, followed close behind by the education or tuition assistance. So I think a lot of opportunities there, but the number one reason of desire is not applicable. And I think for a lot of businesses, this is new territory for them. It's something they didn't necessarily have to think about before, but they certainly want to. In this region, childcare was by far the number one, and then transportation and a little bit lower education assistance, but a little bit higher than I think the rest of the state. So that was the business survey side, again, highlights here. On the job seeker side, we saw very similar themes. The needs and expectations of job seekers today have fully shifted. In the past, I would say, oh, they're shifting, they're changing. I just do not think that there is a going back in time. There's no return to normal or anything like that. Where we are today is very much where we're going to be into the future. There has just been a fundamental shift and change. Part of that is along the lines of industry redeployment. People in certain industries, maybe they've been in certain industries before, and their desire to be in different industries. Great. So how do we still help both of those, all those different industries continue to grow and thrive in the region and in the state? All of that leads to a significant need for training, for upskilling, for people into new careers, getting lifted up into new job titles and that sort of stuff on their career path. And then job seekers spoke a lot to the desire to have and grow their professional networks. Again, getting back to that number one reason that businesses find success, right? Job seekers are recognizing that too. If I'm a business, this slide is like absolute gold to me. What are the things that job seekers want? The number one thing is not higher pay. That's number two. The number one thing that job seekers want, again, 8,000 job seekers weighed in on this, paid time off, either having paid time off or having more paid time off, followed by higher pay. And then I want to work remote full-time. I want to work remote part-time, choose my own hours, that sort of thing. And I will asterisk the heck out of this and say, I fully understand that not every job can be remote. Right, but I'm just presenting the the words from what job seekers are saying out there, and I think it's just very interesting context, especially for our conversation later today, and just what's going on out there. Job seekers identifying a number of barriers to employment as well. So the number one issue this year was the same as the number one issue last year, a little bit higher in this region, which is discrimination based on age. So the perception that, or the real discrimination happening out there, but that's what job seekers are saying at a very high rate. And this is not, by the way, just like a 60 and up crowd. This really starts at about age 40 or 45 and goes all the way up past that, of people feeling that they're discriminated against because of their age, followed by lack of experience. I don't have the right credential. I don't have the right skills. I don't have the right training. And then the fourth one down, that large professional network, right? Job seekers recognizing that they need that foot in the door. They need that leg up. They need someone to validate. We asked a lot of questions about education desired. Bottom line, everybody recognizes that they're probably going to need some kind of training out there. But why aren't they getting the training? Why aren't they seeking that next step in their education? You can see the results here. It is cost being by far the number one factor. And the number two one below that, really at a significant clip in the severe category, is having existing loan debt. I know many people that are still paying off loan debts, even though they're now in their 40s, 20 years after college, paying off that loan debt, but also taking on new debt obviously comes with a lot. And people are saving for their own kids at that point. So certainly something I think to think about. And then the last thing I'll talk about is we asked job seekers, what are the type of skills, if you were to be offered low cost or no cost training, that you'd be interested in? And so here you'll see what they said, a lot of technology, digital, Microsoft technology, CDL licenses, Excel, see a theme here with technology, healthcare training, project management, management in general, administrative help, and then business management specifically. So that is the end. Again, lots of highlights. I know the full data, I think, either has been shared with you or will be shared as a follow-up, but it's also on our website. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I will turn it back over to you, Tom.
Thank you, Chris. I just want to say it's 9:21 and we had allocated Chris up until 9:20. So he did what he said he was going to do. He kept us all on schedule. I just want to, again, logistically, for those not presenting, if you actually just stop your video, then it'll be easier for Sherry to pin people when they're speaking and then be on mute as well. And also for those who joined after Chris started, just put your name and organization in the chat so Sandra can keep track of that. We can share the information. So as you can see, I think why we collectively were excited about having Chris present. It's a great, there's just a lot of great information. And as he said, you can find the actual data and have a chance to delve into it more on the New York State Department of Labor website. And then if he hasn't, he could put the link, directly into the chat so that you can do that. But what we wanted to do now was just reflect a little bit on what we've just heard. We can't go into great depth because we only have about 20 minutes for it, but we do have a great panel to do that, representing the educational community and the business community. So what we wanted to do was have Mike Romita, the head of Westchester County Association, and Marcia Gordon was going to present from the Business Council, but she is engaged with a personal matter, was on with our board earlier, but her second in command, John Ravitz, is quite capable of giving his input from the Business Council of Westchester, and we appreciate his ability to be with us. And from the educational side, Belinda Miles, the head of Westchester Community College in the SUNY system, and Marvin Krislov, the head of Pace University on the private side, is going to offer their view. And essentially what we were looking for was on the business side to say, what have your members said to you? And what are you going to communicate to them? And on the educational side, what do the survey results suggest in terms of what you're doing and what you might do for your students and your customers? So maybe what we'll do is this. We'll ask each of them to weigh in. It's sort of informal, so whoever wants to go first, to maybe talk about what may have surprised you in the survey, number one. Number two, what your members, in the case of the business community, might already be doing that the survey confirmed. And then maybe what you didn't know about, and what you might want to communicate to your members in the business community, and what you might want to think about in terms of new courses or a new direction in the educational side. So those are the loose parameters. So first, whoever wishes to pitch, whoever wants to go first. On the surprise side, was there anything in particular in what you heard in Chris's presentation, what you had read previously in that presentation, that really stood out as a surprise?
I'll be happy to kick this off, Tom, and speak up first. And first, I want to thank you. I want to thank the other panelists, and I want to thank the whole board for including the WCA in this conversation. Jason Chapin, who sits on your board, Tom, runs our workforce development programs here at the WCA. He's our in-house expert on these things. And he dedicates a lot of his time in roundtable discussions, workforce consortium, the talent council, convening every year a symposium on these issues, job fairs. And we also, Chris, you were at our symposium earlier this year. Thanks for that. And, we couldn't do this without our partners in education. The folks at PACE and WCC have been incredible partners to the WCA in pushing some of these issues forward. Belinda's school now is training up over 100 workers for the healthcare sector that we're helping to place, Tom, with your help in that sector. So in the interest of time, I'll tell you about the big surprise for us. And there's a lot here that validates. The validation is really, we have macroeconomic forces at play. Whether you want to call it the Great Recession, the Great Resignation, the Great Reshuffling, it's a great big headache for businesses right now. Because basically you've got a very tight job market, you have an inflationary environment, and what's unusual and unique about the circumstances today is you're also in a recession. So businesses have to be very nimble about making decisions that may not really take place for the long term. And that's kind of been monkey wrenched by COVID. But nevertheless, it's a very difficult environment for businesses right now. I'll put aside some of the validation issues like remote work issues and digital literacy. The biggest surprise for us was really, Chris, something that you kind of glossed over in your presentation, and that's the space needs for businesses. 80% of the respondents to your survey indicated that they are maintaining or increasing their physical footprint, while just 5% of the respondents indicated that they are seeking to reduce their footprints. That doesn't jibe with what we're seeing in commercial real estate right now in Westchester County. The county vacancy rate for commercial real estate is at historically high levels, approaching and actually exceeding 30%. where you strip out the owner occupied locations, places like IBM or Regeneron or MasterCard or things like that. So if businesses are looking to expand their space, the question is, where are they going? Where are they looking to expand? Now, it may not be Westchester yet. Perhaps the market hasn't yet caught up with these business needs, but the survey results that you indicated this year are pretty consistent with last year. So I think Westchester has to do a better job of attracting these businesses that want to expand to make sure that they're taking space in the county. One of the other issues is maybe it's the kinds of businesses that were represented in the poll. So if you're talking about smaller businesses, or you're talking about businesses in the hospitality sector, or maybe the restaurant business, that's a lot different than a major corporation looking to expand its space. But I would say that was the largest surprise for me when I looked at some of the data that you presented, Chris.
Great.
And Tom, if I can add in, and I want to thank Chris for this. I want to thank Chris for the survey. We had Chris actually speak to our members when we came up to Albany for our Albany Lobby Day in May, because it was really important for our members to hear the type of work that the Department of Labor is doing, and we'll share this survey with them as well. Look, at the BCW, we pride ourselves in being the eyes, ears, and voice for our members. And when the pandemic started, our number one priority and challenge was to help our members survive, help them keep their doors open, help them keep their employees employed. And now the challenge has shifted. Our good friend Larry Gottlieb reminded me that the mantra used to be jobs, jobs, jobs. Well, now it's talent, talent, talent. We need to find that pipeline and increase that pipeline. And it is a challenge in which we're going to have to be creative. And just as our members in our business communities throughout the county had to use their ingenuity, their experience, and their creativity to stay open, now they're going to have to use that same mindset as they look to acquire and talent, as well as continue to want to grow as we reemerge from the pandemic. We need to continue to use and have this partnership with our higher education community. That's why, again, we're very proud of the fact that we have both of the education panelists on today on our board, because we need their input. They are the incubator for so much of our future development. We also need to continue to remind folks that there are sectors like hospitality and in other professional service firms that really can be, again, incubators for workforce development. So we're continuing to make sure we come up and think outside of the box. And a little later on, if you'll give me the opportunity, I'll talk a little bit about a program that the BCW introduced last week that we think is very exciting, because it's getting right to the root of the issues of acquiring and obtaining and attracting the talent that our businesses need. But what I find, again, interesting is that this is not just a Westchester problem. This is a nationwide problem. The Wall Street Journal reported this week about a poll that Goldman Sachs just did between the months of July and September, which showed that nearly 1,500 small business owners, 47% of those business owners said finding and retaining qualified employees was the most significant problem. And small businesses faced up from 47% from 43% from June to September. So this is an issue that has to be a priority for everyone. And at the Business Council of Westchester, we're certainly going to make that a priority, because, again, we have the creative mindset with our businesses in the county. We just need to give them as much support as possible.
Thank you, John. And I always love to, when we ever have an excuse to get the Business Council of Westchester and the Westchester County Association on the same call, on the same page. We really value both of your partnership, and you're doing both in your own way. Great work for workforce. So let me just pivot to the educational institutions, and Dr. Miles and Marvin Krislov weigh in, if you would, on any surprises or anything else you wanted to share about what you gleaned from the survey.
Sure, I'll jump in. First of all, congratulations to Chris and the DOL on the survey and the wonderful participation and results. We certainly are seeing some trends that are indicated in the results in academic programming. We understand the need for digital literacy. We've had to revamp a variety of our programs to ensure that we have the competencies that are needed relative to technology. And so that's across the board. I think an interesting dynamic as we look at the uncertainty that we've had across the globe in the past several years is helping people to understand this whole fourth industrial revolution, and that that they've got to train up, and that basic skills are not sufficient. And so introducing some of the students that we serve to some of these emerging fields, identifying those fields, helping them to see themselves in those roles, a part of our marketing strategy to say, you belong here, employers need you, you can make a difference, you are part of this retooling and this growth of our economy. It's a whole new vocabulary for many people who are struggling to get their lives back together, to overcome issues that they've faced with childcare and unemployment and caregiving to their loved ones as they faced losses or personal health issues. And we still have people who are out sick because of issues related to COVID. So helping them to even envision a future is something that we'll have to work collectively on, to say that we do have robust offerings available to you. We've been trying to work within our curriculum to have more work-based learning opportunities. We know that the programs that require a practicum, like nursing and medical technologies and the like, have the highest rates of success for students committing to the curriculum and getting employment. So that does reinforce the idea that those networks matter. They know those students because they've been on a practicum or an internship as part of their curriculum. So wherever we can do that, it really does matter. We have a strong volunteer corps, more than 600 individuals who volunteer at Westchester Community College, and many of them are career mentors that help students understand what's available to them. We serve many first-generation students, many new English language speakers, many new immigrants, and so we have the we have the added responsibility of helping them to get acclimated to the environment. We're SUNY's first Hispanic serving institution, and that's a federal designation when you have 25% of your student population from Latinx background. Well, we're up to 47%. That's a huge shift in our demographics. So as we look at changes in the census data, we are serving students who are seeking opportunity and may not have those networks, and we have to build those networks for them. I'm glad to see that Indeed is working, and I think we have a lot more that we can do looking at social media platforms and other technology-based platforms to get our students on the path toward career opportunities.
Yeah, thank you so much. And actually, we don't have time to go into it now, but the Career Center, the board is actually working on a pilot project, or will be, with Indeed, that we'll have more to say about in the coming weeks. So we're excited about that. And Marvin from Pace University, please weigh in.
Thank you, Tom, and thanks everybody for being here. Belinda and I are both in the talent business, John Ravitz, and so we're very excited to fill in the needs that are identified in this survey. In terms of surprises, the results actually confirm what we know, that there are certain fields that there is a great demand for, and these are fields that we have actually expanded and continue to work on, fields like nursing and healthcare in general, accountancy, and then technology, cybersecurity, and so forth. And we're partnering with WCC and employers in the region to try to fill these needs. In terms of what is surprising, I guess, in a sense, is that there's still an information gap. And I experience that every day when I talk to people. How do I get started in education? Maybe I had a degree that's irrelevant. Maybe I didn't finish the degree. We have a lot of people who have credits floating out there and they haven't been put together in a degree. Maybe people don't really need a degree, but they need a certificate. So we've done a lot of work in the past few years to create programs, new master's programs. Many of them are online. A certificate program. We have an advanced certificate in health law with the law school. And we are very much willing to work directly with employers if they have specific needs for upskilling. Particularly, we hear this from the healthcare employers. So I think that these results actually confirm what we know the needs are, but they also suggest that we all need to do better. And I think that's businesses, education, and the public sector as well. to try to identify people who want to work but don't know quite how to jump in or need to upskill. And I think that's a great mission for all of us, and I welcome the efforts to be part of that.
Thank you. And just one maybe specific question, as employers are struggling to find those with the talent that they need, the job seekers themselves are saying they don't necessarily have the credentials or the training that's necessary to make that match work. So on the educational side or on the business side, is there anything in particular other than what particularly Belinda and Marvin just spoke about that the survey would suggest in terms of an approach forward to try to narrow that gap, the skills gap, which is actually there's both hard and soft skills that were reflected in the survey? Anything in particular that jumps out?
I mean, I would say that a lot of the skills that people learn, for instance, in a campus setting or not, are translatable in terms of soft skills. So I saw the need for management. Is someone who is president of a student club and does a service project, is that applicable management training? I think so. And it's perhaps being more open to a range of experiences. Is taking care of a sick parent relevant? Absolutely. And I think one of the things our career services does, but I think we all need to do, is to help people identify the experiences that they have, whether they're formally called jobs or not, that might be relevant to employers. And I hope employers are open to understanding that those experiences can be valuable training, even if they're not an official job or even an official internship.
Yeah, and as some of, just to interject one thing, as some of you certainly know, there's been an effort made to encourage businesses to try to remove a 4 or 2-year college degree as a requirement for the application itself, so that trade schools or other educational experiences might be equally considered. So anything else on how to essentially narrow the skills gap? This is not a new thing, right? Everybody's been trying to narrow the skills gap in workforce development and economic development for years. But now it just seems like it's a little bit more focused, and the survey results seem to reflect that. But anything in particular in that, before we, of course, run out of time on the panel, anything in particular on the skills gap that you might take away from the survey?
Well, Tom, it was interesting, the use of Indeed and job boards. Those are generally kind of shotgun approaches, and they might not necessarily address the skills gap problem that we have. So even though job boards generally are helpful, the whole philosophy that Jason Chapin here at the WCA brings to his work is to be demand side focused, to try and align the needs of the employers with the kinds of training that they're getting at the schools, the PACEs and the WCCs, et cetera. So a lot of these working groups that he puts together are trying to determine what the proper training curriculums are, and those are his primary motivations. I think also the focus on upskilling and credentialing programs, which is a new issue that many of the colleges and universities, including Belinda's and Marvin's, are embracing, importantly, apprenticeship programs and supports. The need for not only childcare, but also the need for transportation costs and things of that nature. But it's not just one-sided. I mean, employers have to do their part too. They have to start thinking more about aligning corporate culture with what their employees are looking for. And there's an intergenerational issue there. Younger employees are more purpose-driven. So, the easy answer is to throw more money at people. And I think that Chris, identified that, but that's not the long-term solution. So I think that there's both work that the employers need to do and there's work that the employees need to do. And obviously at the center of this is going to be the training partners.
Yeah.
And Tom, again, as we talk about thinking outside of the box and how are we going to attract this talent, because that is the key piece of what we're hearing from all of our members as well. So let me just tell you in a few moments about a program that we kicked off last week at the Business Council of Westchester. We hope really drills down to that issue. Look, we won't want to duplicate efforts We want to enhance those efforts. And so last week we kicked off something partnering with the historic Hudson Valley, where we're utilizing the great Jack-o'-lantern blaze, Croton on the Hudson, which is an incredible event that meets every year, that draws over 125,000 people from a 200-mile radius. That's the catchment area we really want to be able to attract people from. And over the next 8 weeks, they're going to have the opportunity to see a program called Westchester Wants You. And we're utilizing the ultimate headhunter in this program at the Blaze with an icon in Westchester County, which is the Headless Horseman. And this headhunter now is going to be able to drive those folks who are going to the Blaze to a QR code in which they'll already be able to be linked to some of existing businesses that are looking for that type of talent. We're going to enhance this program. We're going to increase the number of businesses that we have. But when you think about the fact that we're going to have over the next 8 weeks the opportunity to reach 125,000 hopeful, prospective Westchester employees, that's, again, one of the things that we should be focusing on. So our Headless Horseman, the ultimate headhunter, is going to be all over Westchester County over the end of 2022 and all through 2023. And hopefully more businesses will go on this website and add their names and have an opportunity to hopefully be able to attract some of the folks that are going to be going to the website. So again, this is one piece of the puzzle that we have to continue to address. But hopefully, again, it's using the ingenuity and creativity that has made Westchester the intellectual capital of the country to continue to move forward in this area.
Thank you, John. And just if I could, if there's any closing words from Belinda or Marvin, and if not, that's okay too. But if you had a thought you just wanted to share, please do, and then we'll have to move along. But go ahead.
I'll be very brief in saying that at Westchester Community College, we've been very intentional about changing our metrics. And so if we're talking about scattershot approaches and gee, we have this all available and maybe folks will find their way to us, well, that's probably not going to be sufficient. We have to build bridges for individuals who are coming out of the shock of dealing with the global pandemic. And we have found at the college that a case management approach where we know the individuals and we've set up some structures to create platforms for them to move from one stage of their experience to the next has been most helpful. So I would say that we need to design the kind of structures and systems and help employers to do that too. Maybe they need to have individual training accounts for their employees, and that can be an incentive in addition to flexible scheduling that they can say, we're going to invest in you. And we need you to do this work, and maybe there can be some mutuality there. So employees can have the stability that they're seeking from the workforce, and the employers can then have the dedicated workforce to stay with them, that they'll continue to grow.
Thank you.
I just want to say that we are more than excited to be part of this regional strategy. And I'm going to put two names in the chat. One is Phyllis Mooney, who's the head of our career services. We have a lot of fairs and internship opportunities. And if there's something that employers want to work with us on, please let us know. And then the other is Sean O'Reilly, who's the head of our continuing education program. And we're happy to do specifically tailored programs. We also do work with high schools, as I know Belinda and WCC does as well. But I'll put those two names in the chat, and as well as mine, and happy to funnel inquiries or opportunities.
Thank you so much. And we knew this would happen because we had a great presentation and 4 great panelists, and we just ran a little bit over, but I think there's more to really talk about. So, and I didn't share this with anybody ahead of time, but we're going to ask everybody to come back at a convenient time to continue this discussion, because it's just really important. The collaborations are the most important thing, you know, with us, with the workforce board and the educational partners and the business partners, and as well as the not-for-profits that we didn't really even speak too much about, but are critical. So we will do that, and we greatly appreciate it. And you're more than welcome to stay for what will be a lightning round slideshow that summarizes what we've been doing for the past year and where we want to go. So, but first, thank you so much, Chris and the panel, for being here. Let me just ask quickly if County Executive Latimer is on. He can yell out, and if not, we'll recognize him when he does get on, because he had another commitment early. I know Mike Piazza is on for County Executive Mary Ellen Odell in Putnam. So Mike, if you just wanted to say hi and share greetings, then go ahead and do that on behalf of the county exec.
Sure, Tom, thanks very much. County Executive wanted to welcome you to this year's annual meeting and give her regards to County Executive Latimer. You know, with a wistful look back at, you know, what we've done before the pandemic to have a, you know, missing the morning breakfast meetings at Dunwoody or Regeneron or at Putnam National. She, you know, she wanted us to just talk about, you know, the pandemic has made it necessary to make a lot of changes, both in structure of the meetings as well as in the function of what we do. But I think Chris explained tremendously in his presentation the challenges of employment in this environment. And the county executive wanted to be sure that you knew of the great confidence she has in the ability of the Workforce Development Board to look at those challenges in employment by listening to employers, by listening to businesses, and by listening to the workforce, to the labor-seeking workforce, that will be able to be flexible enough in the future to help the community and to, you know, really mitigate against the volatility that occurs in the aftermath of the pandemic. So thank you very much, Tom. And also we wanted to thank your staff, Tom, and the Putnam staff led by Marie Daly. And thank you for all the work that you've done.
Thank you so much, Mike. Mike has been a longtime partner, head of DSS, commissioner of DSS in Putnam. So thank you so much. So we're going to move to a slide presentation that Sherry Brook and Harquin has developed with us and for us. And there'll be some presenters, and I'll just say to the presenters, sometimes you can let the slides speak for themselves, since we're coming up on when we said we would end. We're not going to end exactly at that time, but we did want to just share some things that we're proud of and some ideas moving forward. So I wanted to first recognize David Singer, who's the head of our board, longtime head, who will just share some thoughts and some highlights with you, and then we'll move on to some program issues. So if that works with David, then we'll start with David.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, this was a great panel. It's great group. My only highlights that I want to talk about is really the members of the board and who serves on our board and some of the new people. I mean, I have been involved with not-for-profits and profits for 30 years. And I have to say, this is probably the most dedicated, hardworking board of people that really get it, that really care. So I would be, you know, without meeting them and without introducing them, we wouldn't really be doing the group justice. So I'd like to just throw their faces up on the screen and thank everybody. First, I want to start with the executive committee. I mean, our staff has been outstanding. You know, Tom and Sonda and OJ and the rest of the group are just really dedicated, really gone through. I've watched them go through recessions and pandemics, and they always keep their eye on the ball and lead us, Atul and the rest of the group. So I want to thank all of them, but the executive committee, the guys that kind of put the program together and keep the ship sailing in the right direction, is myself, Tracy Rasco, who's new, Wiley, who I'll introduce in a moment, Wiley Harrison, who's been our treasurer and a great leader, Marsha Gordon, who you all know if you live in Westchester, the Hudson Valley, and you don't know Marsha Gordon, then you really should be checking in on where you've been lately. Larry Gottlieb, another tremendous leader in the entire Hudson Valley. Paul Granke, who's now my vice chair, tremendous leader. Allison Madison, who's been on the board as long as I have, knows more about workforce development than most professionals, and she actually is a professional private sector. And Richard St. Paul, also tremendous leader. The regular board, the overall board, if you want to pull up the next slide of our board members. Thank you. We have all these people here come from a real diverse group. We have business leaders, educators, professionals, James Bernardo, business leader, Thomas Capruso, unions and labor. Jason, of course, you know, is a workforce expert. Edward Cook, representing also labor and unions. Demia Harris-Madden, excellent educator, dedicated leader. Jan Fisher, who we'll talk about in a minute. Bridget Gibbons, Michelle Green, Richard Greenwald's been on the board for as long as I have, and a new member, of course, Marvin Krislov, who I'll give you a little bit background on in a minute. Anthony Marmo, another trades professional. Dr. Miles, you don't need to hear from me, her credentials. Matthew Pepe, Michael Piazza, Carl Road, all trades and leaders in employment and workforce investment. Bob Sanders has been on the board, brilliant PR and human resource person for us. James Schutzer from finance, a tool professional. Regina Thomas and Leonard Towns, all professionals in their fields. So we have a great group of people dedicated to working on these causes, and you know, the proof comes out. It's sometimes shocking to me when you hear about these skills gaps with all these kids that are going to college and then they come out with skills gaps. It's kind of shocking because as I pay my tuition bills for my 3 kids, I would hate to think they're coming out of that with skills gaps, but they are. So we have to really focus that. Marvin Krislov, been president of Pace University for a number of years, is now part of our group. We are super happy to have him. He's been a great leader and educator, and he's guiding us, he's guiding Pace through a big master plan overhaul of their campus, and we're glad to be a partner with him and hope he'll be a valuable resource to all of us. Tracy, she's been an educator and a leader down in the BOCES of Southern Westchester, been an extremely valuable partner to us. Coming from the trades industry myself, I could tell you we have a tremendous skills gap. Very few eager people are entering trades today, and people like Tracy and their team is, you know, are encouraging people to go into these trades. You know, these kids are coming out making, you know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 with absolutely no student debt, and yet it's not an attractive career. So figure that one out. And then, of course, our new deputy commissioner who you met earlier in the program. We're very happy to have Randolph with us, and his expertise will be very valuable to us. So without any further ado, we have Rachel Adler, Commissioner Reardon's Mid-Hudson representative. She is our representative and the commissioner's link to us for the entire Hudson Valley. So we welcome Rachel. Thank you. And then, of course, Marcia, who speaks for herself, but we are really happy to have her part of our team. And of course, she's been appointed now co-chair of the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council. So we'll be competing for her time, but don't forget us, Marcia. And thank you again to Jan Fisher, who is now on our board, but has been honored as a woman in business in Westchester Magazine. So as I said, we have quite a group. Wiley, besides his golf game, he is a very proficient accountant, treasurer, and leader, and does a vast amount for the community in and outside of this board. And he was recently honored by the Salvation Army for his community service. So Wiley, thank you for your help with us and for the whole community. And of course, Belinda Miles, I mean, I'm tired of bragging about Belinda Miles. There's enough said, but she is tremendous, and we're happy to have her on our board. But she's also been recognized as a woman in business for her success leading Westchester County Community College, which is growing and is a tremendous resource for us. And most of the effort that we put through and the training we do is through Belinda and her crew. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Thank you so much. And just a quick mention, we have new team members here in the White Plains Career Center. Mary Elizabeth Ugo. We finally have a finance office that's up and running, so Sonda can move on to any number of other things, as she did a great job stepping in to essentially keep the finance office afloat because of retirements and promotions. And I think I go to Atul, who is our colleague, the regional rep for Department of Labor, just to say a quick word about his new team members. if you-
Thank you, too. Yep, go ahead, too.
Okay, so our new team members are for White Plains, Tanya Rodas, Labor Service Representative, Jonathan Chin, DVOP, Disabled Outreach Specialist, Melissa Castile, Labor Services Rep, and Dewan Peters, who started today, Office Assistant. For Big Skill, we have Laudi Torabio and Kolji Johal. And for Carmel Career Center, Victoria Petroziello, Employment Counselor, and Hernan Salazar Chala, Labor Services Representative. And for Mount Vernon, we'll talk about, we'll announce those later on in the next coming weeks. Also, congratulations to Janet Kennedy and Valeska of the Carmel Career Center on their 20-year work milestone. Also, we had a lot of promotions, farewells, and transfers. Victor Avendano, Charlene Manning, Ronald Moscoso, Prince Capil, Michelle Bear, Mary Kehoe, Noemi Santana, Kate Lucarello, Roxana Francisco, all our wonderful staff. They left, transferred, retired. We wish them well. There's Michelle Bear in the middle. There's Kate, Noemi, and Victor. Their goodbye parties, for farewell parties. We wish them well. Also, congratulations to OJ Geiser, who was recently promoted to Director of Program Development 2 for the Career Center Network. Also, we have.
Yeah, that was Victor's 25-year recognition with OJ as well.
Yes, thank you.
And last, I think in this, almost last, keep going. We had Sonda, recently promoted to Assistant Director, Employment and Training, among many other things. And Jamila, who you're going to hear from in a moment, who is our new Program Administrator for Employment and Training and Business. We merged business and job seekers into one division. We'll have more to say about that later. But I want to introduce Jamila to, do the speed version of our slides because we're running up against the clock. But so don't worry if you leave something out. But we just wanted to share some quick highlights with what Jamila and the staff has been doing on our, we'll call them our core activities.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Tom. I'd like to start off the presentation to thank you, Sherry, for the picture, to introduce you all to the Career Center Workforce Team. It's comprised of employment counselors and members from the Business and Community Engagement Team, where we provide integrated services to job seekers and businesses. So we're hoping that our job seekers will be able to connect with our business customers in a more seamless fashion than before. Now, if you were ever wondering what's been going on at the Career Center, well, here we go. The activities that I'm going to describe are being performed by New York DOL staff or Career Center staff. Now, DOL has these great virtual workshops that customers are able to access anywhere in New York State. In addition to the workshops, all of our centers have resource rooms that are open for community members to come use computers to help with their resume development, submitting applications, trainings, and really networking with businesses that are out there looking for qualified employees. Our centers opened, of course, last September to the public, and we continue to adhere to COVID protocols and social distancing. It's important for the staff and also for the community to know that they can come, use the center, do effective job search, and also feel safe. The staff transitioned back into the career centers on a hybrid model. So some are working at home, some are coming into the office. But coming into the office has been extremely beneficial because it allows us to express the diversity of our staff and our customers. And we all enjoy, hanging out and doing festive things. One of the other things that's a benefit of being open is having the career closet, where members of the community have been able to send in high quality clothes for our job seekers to use for interviews in those first couple days before they get that paycheck. The next few slides comprise some stats from DOL and Career Center activities. Altogether, we had almost 10,000 customers served, almost 5,000 new customers. We've had between 300 and 400 veterans, which is a priority service population. As far as activities, we've had over 2,500 jobs posted online, and that number grows every day because we constantly have employers signing up on our website to get their open positions out there to our vast network. We have over 1,700 customers reporting employment. And as you all know, some customers don't let us know that they've gotten employment, and some of them are hard to get in touch with because they're so busy working. So we're hoping that we'll get that number a little bit higher. And we've also been able to have about 500 customers use our resource room, and we've had almost 900 workshops offered. Thus far, over this 2021 to 22 year, we've been able to participate in almost 20 job fairs, and we're very excited about our upcoming job fair on November 2nd. That's going to be held out of the Mount Vernon Career Center. So save the date and look for flyers with more information coming soon. We've had almost 700 employers registered, and as I said, every day they continue to register for the vast job fairs, and we've had almost 6,000 customers attending the different multi-sector job fairs that we are participating in. One of the key services that we offer are the ITAs, the individual training accounts. And over the span, we've had 146 ITAs accepted, 183 customers attending classes, and 83 who've completed training. Here is a sample of some of the different trainings that our customers are interested in. And remember, these trainings are the beginning of their journey on their career pathway. Electrician, pharmacy tech, nursing assistant, HVAC, and this is just a small sampling. There's always more courses that the customers are eligible for. One of the key things that we're really proud of is the HTPP program that we've collaborated with Westchester County Association, WCC, BOCES, and Nonprofit Westchester, where the staff, they get a customer who calls in that's interested in healthcare. The support staff helps them to get triaged immediately to the counselors who get them enrolled into these programs. It has been really a huge success and an extreme undertaking for all of the staff. Everyone's pulled their own weight, and it's something that we're extremely proud of to be part of this year. And those are the stats. Job Spotlight. We have these e-blasts that go out to job seekers in our vast network. Many of you probably get them, about all the updated information, resources for employers and job seekers. And we have a great resource page where you can get different information on DEI, how to engage your new employees, how to address retention issues, and here's our last slide, using certification as a tool for career advancement. Now I'd like to introduce my colleague, Chima Monday, who is the program specialist for youth services. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Jamila. Thank you so much for that introduction. So with the youth programs, the youth department is comprised of 2 staff, Liz Oliveiro, the program administrator, who is not able to be with us today, and myself. We have several programs that are federally funded and state funded as well. The program you're looking at now, the slide you're looking at, is the WDAY program, the Workforce Development Academy for Youth. This is a federally funded program that aims to help young people between the ages of 16 to 24 years find employment and training. For this program, we have 7 subcontractors that execute the program for us. You can see Mount Vernon Youth Bureau, White Plains Youth Bureau. These vendors are scattered all across the county. These are some of the outcomes that enrollment goals that have been achieved. So for the numbers in yellow are the required contractual enrollment goals, and the one in blue is what they actually achieved. So despite the impact of COVID, we actually made some significant success in this program. A lot of our vendors pretty much met their goals, enrollment goals and outcome goals. For those that were not able to, they put in their best effort, and it was very close. We also have the next slide, the Summer Youth Employment Program, which is comprised of 13 subcontractors across the county. This program goal is to help young people 14 to 20 years old, place them in summer employment across the county. It also gives us the opportunity to partner with businesses all over the county, and it's made up of 11 subcontractors. These contractors assist us to implement the program in a way that increase collaboration. As you can see, all of our contractors for this project met their enrollment goal, and we had a successful program year despite COVID as well. Okay, this is the program that we call the Bright Future. This is part of the Gun Violence Prevention Initiative that came out of the state, the governor's office. As we all know, gun violence has consumed, it's taken, has a negative impact across the country, and specifically in New York State. So this project was one of the projects that the governor's office rolled out, that we were able to spearhead and collaborate with 3 vendors, Mount Vernon Youth Bureau and the Guidance Center, and also the West Hab organization. So with this project, the goal is to help mitigate the impact and the effect of gun violence, and if not, to prevent it as well. The program was focused on 2 different zip codes in Mount Vernon for recruitment. As you can see here, these are some of the community events that we had for this project. It's also worth to note that this project was also recognized by the state, just because we were one or two counties across the state that met their enrollment goal, and also that the data piece was also almost perfect. So this program was highlighted by the state as well. All right, so this is a federally funded program that we have. The Strive Future Leaders Reentry Project was a program that was focused to help justice-involved youth to be able to get them acclimated and get them into career pathways. This program just was concluded about a couple of months ago, but as you can see, the program outcome and goals was met, and even in some cases surpassed. We were actually able to, the project was able to get some more funding just because of the performance that we put out for this project. This project was also we partnered with West Hab to execute this project. So I just want to say thank you to our partner West Hab for a good job, well done. We also have, lastly, the Westchester Young Adult Reentry Project. This is a project that will be ending this month, as a matter of fact. This project, as we all know, during COVID, it was really hard to be able to try to execute such a huge amount of project. This is a federally funded project. So, but we were able to because of the effort that we had partnering with Auburn League, we were able to come out strong and do a good job, that even when we had our audit, federally funded audit, the feds actually, they were very amazed by the level of achievement that we attained in this program. And so we're very proud of all of our vendors and the collaborative effort that we all have put together. We couldn't have done it without all the vendors. So I just want to say thank you all for all the vendors, and to everybody that has supported in making the youth department and the youth programs to be successful.
Thank you so much.
Pass it along now to our director, Tom Kleiner.
Thank you so much, Jima and Jamila, for 2 great presentations, and of course, the staff that works with you for making all of this happen. And we're almost done. I just want to just point out we had about 105 people that were able to participate, and 86 of you are still on. So we appreciate you staying on to hear all of this, and we're going to finish in just a couple minutes. want to introduce Deb Novick for a couple of words. But before that, just a quick word about VITA, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, that again, really did an amazing job. There's Victor. I think he's on the call. He certainly was earlier. And Victor is now with a different part of DSS, but he spearheaded VITA, working with OJ and Sonda and others for many years. Here's some of the statistics, but basically, in a word, we were able to get tax refunds to those who most needed it in Westchester, and they did a great job with our volunteers. They're they're partners first, as you can see on the screen, and there's a number of them. United Way is a key one, along with the others, and also our volunteer tax professionals who really took a lot of time, and you'll see them up here as well. They really have not only, this year, not only during COVID, but in some cases for many years, they've really done a great job. And we really appreciate all of their efforts. And just a quick word, you saw, I think, let's see what's next. We did, the Career Center team working with DOL and the county, and you'll hear about that in just one sec, did virtual and now increasingly in-person job fairs with good results, as you heard earlier. So particularly the county, Bridget Gibbons, who wasn't able to be with us, is on the board, Economic Development Director, working with Deborah Novick, who's the entrepreneurial specialist, but works in the Office of Economic Development for County Executive Latimer in the county. These are some of the things that they spearheaded mostly in combination with Department of Labor, in combination with us. But credit really is due to Bridget and Deb and the county exec. And Deb, I believe you're there. And if you want, just give a couple of highlights. There's about 3 or 4 screens left to go before we conclude. So go ahead.
Thank you, Tom. I'll be very brief. I just want to say that I think these kinds of conversations, getting everybody together, collaboration is key, and communication to make sure that we understand sort of all sides of the talent recruiting issues. I think at this moment in time, economic development and workforce development are pretty much the same thing. As somebody said earlier in the meeting, talent, talent, talent. So we've been trying here at the county offices to do what we can. You see some slides here of the different career fairs and job fairs that either we've put on or Tom's organization has put on. Particularly proud of this, the Diverse Abilities job fair that we just had a week or 2 ago, where we invited candidates with disabilities who have an extremely high unemployment rate. And if you're looking for creative pockets of talent to explore that maybe you haven't explored before, I would encourage people to look both in the diversity population and in the justice impacted population for talent that is underutilized and underappreciated, where unemployment is very high. In fact, our next job fair will be just for candidates who are part of the justice impacted community. And we're partnering with a local business, ConConnect, which basically has developed LinkedIn for the justice impacted community and the reentry organizations that support that population. That will be our next job fair. And I think that there are opportunities to close some of the talent gap by looking at populations that are a little bit overlooked maybe some of the time, and maybe some creative recruiting strategies and workplace adjustments might be required to attract this population, but it could be part of the solution. So greetings from the county executive and all of us here at the Office of Economic Development, and great work, Tom, to you and your entire team. Thanks.
Oh, thank you so much. And thanks for staying with us, everybody, you and everybody else, for the entire presentation. I just put my contact and phone number in the chat. If you have, if you're not on the e-list that Sherry Brook coordinates and sends out every couple of weeks, just send me a note, give me a call. If you have any other thoughts about future presentations or this one, then share those thoughts as well. The board, as I indicated at the top of the meeting, was really engaged, is really particularly engaged now. They always are, but as you heard David say, We're facing a lot of unique challenges in the coming months. Chris White's survey and the panelists' input on that will help guide us as we move through the workforce development process and coordinate with Deb and Bridget in economic development, our not-for-profit partners, business and educational partners. So we welcome all of you to be part of that in any way that you wish, and we'll keep you all updated. So again, thanks to Sherry and Harquin for this presentation, and for our staff, those who presented, and those who are working with all of us on a daily basis. And again, just thanks everybody for joining.
We're done, right?
Yes, we are.
We're gonna end.
Pleasure.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So
It was
much.
good
Thanks, Victor.
presentation.
Hey,
Thank you.
Victor.
Hello there.
Thank you,
All my
everyone.
best.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank
Great
you.
work, everybody.
Thanks,
Yep.
thanks,
Thank
thanks,
you.
David. Thanks, board.
Thank
Pleasure,
you.
pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.